Hello cruel world, my name is Dr. 𝗩𝗂𝗏𝗏𝐻𝐻. I'm a consultant forensic psychiatrist and I'm here to answer your questions on the internet. Let's get started. Question number 1. Is it unethical for my psychiatrist to suggest that antidepressants have no side effects at all? Well, if you don't mind me saying, that does seem to be quite a loaded question. It seems like it's quite obvious this the answer that you're trying to signal, but I'm happy to answer it nonetheless. Yes, obviously it is completely unethical for your psychiatrist to suggest this. So all antidepressants, all psychotropic medications, so all psychiatric meds have some side effects. The extent to which any given medication will affect any individual is unpredictable. It's not known, so there has to be a degree of trial and error. But for a psychiatrist to say there's no side effects is misleading and it's unprofessional, and it doesn't help with patient collaboration, because if you take the medication and you do have side effects, you're unlikely to trust that particular doctor. Question number 2, is it better to have individual psychotherapy or group psychotherapy? I would say generally speaking, it's better to have individual psychotherapy. If you think of psychotherapy as learning about yourself, either by looking at your current kind of life circumstances or your upbringing in your childhood, any kind of tuition I think is better one-on-one. So a maths teacher is going to teach a student one-on-one far more than he is if he's teaching the whole class. And so if you work with a psychotherapist one-to-one, they can talk specifically about only you for the whole time, and they can give you homework between sessions and focus on exactly how you've done in between sessions. So generally speaking, individual is better. Having said all that, there are some exceptions where the experience of other people who've been through something similar might help your recovery. So ones that spring to mind would be drug and alcohol rehabilitation. So a bit like AA meetings, I'm sure you've seen roughly what they're like on TV. If you can share your experience, then it might kind of make you appreciate the problem holistically and heal together. Or sometimes shared trauma. So for example, I've done lots of work recently on the Grenfell Tower victims. If you're not from the UK, then look it up. If you're from the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. Big fire, really tragic. Lots of people died, lots of trauma. And that is a situation where, because lots of people experienced the same trauma from the same situation at the same time, talking about it might help. But that is quite rare. It's far more common for people to have individual trauma. Question number 3, do contents and themes reveal the true nature of schizophrenics? Would a maths genius have obsessive delusions about maths? That is a very interesting question, and my answer would be not necessarily. So I think the delusions, the psychoses, are a bit like dreams. So just like you can't really control dreams that come to you, and for me personally, most of my dreams are completely random, don't really mean anything, but sometimes they're connected to what's on my mind or something that I've seen recently or other parts of my life. I think it's the same with delusions. Most of the time it's completely random and they follow certain themes. So paranoid delusions, believing that people are watching you or wanting to harm you, but occasionally they do follow the lives or the preoccupations of the patient. So it's not the norm, but it does happen. I'll give you some examples. I remember once assessing a young man with a PhD in philosophy who was hearing the voice of like a philosopher who he would kind of debate with inside of his mind. And this took the form of philosophers that he'd studied in his degree in the past. I've recently done a video on Andrea Yates. So has a very high profile tragic case. She's a mother who killed 5 of her own children in Houston in 2001, I believe it was. She was quite religious and she had very religious delusions. So she believed that the devil was talking to her, and she believed that she had to kill her children to prevent them from going to hell. So obviously that was very much connected to her culture. And also I remember assessing and treating a drug dealer from South London who started to have delusions that other people were actually from rival drug gangs, so including the ward doctors, including myself, including other members of staff. He believed that they were rival drug gang members that were there to spy on him. So again, that's his surroundings absorbing into his delusions. Anyway, that's it from me today. Before I go, I would implore you please to subscribe to my channel and watch more videos. So my channel, A Psych for Sore Mind, covers a whole range of topics related to mental health. Some of them are connected to offending and violence, because that's my specialism, and some of them are completely unrelated to that and are about common familiar mental illnesses. My USP, I think, is that I talk about my cases. So I actually give you insight into real life situations and patients. Obviously I anonymise them out of respect. Anyways, that's enough from me. I hope to see you on my channel. Take it easy and stay thymic.